we get to? How much time in training do you spend doing admin? So when you start, it's a lot of admin focus, learning how to iron and look after yourself. Obviously, things around the accommodation. You're getting thrashed all the time as well, so you're constantly in and out of kit and all that, sorting out your Bergen and all that. So like when you first start, you might be doing like all-nighters like we were. It's changed a little bit since I went in. We used to do something called foundation, and that was very much just like all-nighters, sorting your kit out, getting ready, getting thrashed, waking up at 5, like get kit inspections at 5 a.m. and then it all to be thrown out again. So but as you progress through training, that dissipates a lot more, and then you get left to your own devices a lot more as well. So yeah, it varies throughout, but it's definitely hard. A lot of admin to start with. Thoughts on coronation parade, and did you ever take part in any ceremonial stuff? I personally didn't watch it, as bad as that sounds. I've done ceremonies and stuff before. It's not my cup of tea. I prefer soldiering, and it's funny because like I was saying to someone the other week, you practice standing still and things like that. So but like day 1 stood still for an hour, day 2 stood still for 2 hours, day 3 stood still for 3 hours, and you like build up being able to stand still and that. And it's long days for the guys, and everything's obviously got to be immaculate. You don't want to be the person who craps anything up as well, and you got like millions of people watching you. When we came back from Afghan, we did a parade through Plymouth with 4-2 Commando, and we were a bag of crap, to be honest, but it didn't matter because we were legends. What kind of weight training should I do? I was doing some research, and it's best to go for high rep range, such as 20 or so, or lower rep ranges. Thanks to help with your videos. Yeah, good question. So we're looking to build absolute strength. We want to be strong. The stronger we are, the more potential we've got for power and for strength endurance. So if we're really, really strong, so for instance, say I've got 100 kilo squat, that's my 1 rep max, and someone's got 150 kilo 1 rep max, their sort of their ability or their forecast for producing power and endurance is a lot better than mine. So we're looking to keep low reps a couple of times a week, low reps, high weight. This is like generally speaking. And then we're looking to do 1 or 2 strength endurance ones where it's like 12 reps plus. So in my programming for Complete Commando, I program a lot of weighted step ups, weighted lunges. I'm trying to replicate what you're doing in the military. So we're out on Dartmoor. I've got, Bergens on my back, or I've got to step onto that ridge, 15 different times, or I'm stepping up and I'm like climbing up a mountain, or I'm going up Snowdon, or whatever it is. I've got weight on me, so I'm replicating that within my programs, and so that's what we want to be trying to do within your programming when you're getting ready for the military, is trying to replicate, trying to be specific to it. But also, we know that compound lifts like your deadlifts, your squats, your bench press, your strict press, they're going to create absolute strength, which is going to give you the potential to improve in these other areas. So when we're looking at like making you stronger, we're looking like traditionally 1 to 5 reps, and 3 to 5 sets of that. When we're looking at like strength endurance, like you're talking about higher volume, it could be German volume training. That can be anywhere between like 6 reps or 8 reps and on. So I think German volume training is like 10 sets of 10, something like that. So we're trying to get a good balance of both. We don't want to have just absolute strength where we're only working in like the 1 to 5 reps. But we also don't just want to be like racing snakes where we're doing 20 reps plus, because then we're not strong, and we're going to break down with a Bergen on our back. What's food like in the Marines? So I'm a fat boy at heart, so I loved it. It's all the scran you can eat, and it's just basically like school dinners. So, but a lot of people complain about it. It's fine. Look, get the calories in you, get the protein in you. Stop whinging. There's a lot of people, I always think of it like, in Afghan or Brazil, in the slums, there's people who can't feed their kids, and then we're complaining and like, Oh, chips and beans. Gutting. Hi mate, do you know if all RM recruits go on leave at the same time, or does it depend on the stage of training? Nope. So it's blocked. So you should know. I think Lympston's maybe forecast like a year ahead, but it's you all go on leave 2 weeks for Easter, 3 weeks for summer, 2 weeks for Christmas. It doesn't matter if you're in Hunter, whether you're in week 1, whether you're in week 30. You all like Lympston goes on leave. Have a look at programs. Yeah, guys, if you check out our programs and use the discount code 1664, that's an original, you get 50% off the first month. Plus, you get a 7-day free trial, so you can check them out without, if you get to the 6th day and you're like, this isn't for me or whatever, then you can just cancel it and it don't cost you nothing. What skills would you be beneficial to brush up on before starting training? Example, map reading. That is the number one for me. It's like if you've never map read before, just get around a compass and a map and just get used to it. The Royal Marines have like really good YouTube videos where it's just the basics of map reading. I think it's like a 15-part thing, and like they've put it on YouTube, and I imagine it's because they want you to go through them beforehand. Being a thinking soldier, being proactive. If you can just watch those videos, that's more than I knew joining. I'd never held a map. I'd held a road atlas or whatever, but I'd never had a compass. I'd never done any navving of any sort. So when it came to it, and I was at Lympston, sleep deprived, freaking rabbit in the headlights as a young recruit, and then now I'm trying to learn like map reading. I was like, what the heck is this? So if you can just get some sort of basic knowledge of map reading beforehand, like you're on for a win there. I'd also say just practicing with an iron doesn't have to be perfect, but learning those two things or just getting around those two things, having really basic knowledge of them both will save you a world of pain. But if you're interested in learning more and like basically going to Lympston with really good or good foundational map reading on our military prep weekends, we absolutely nail it. So everyone can take an 8-figure grid reference. Everyone can nav, look at a map, orientate it to the ground and stuff when they go on our weekend. So you can check that out on completecommando.com. Next one's in July. Do you have to do much written work in training? I was actually clearing out my attic last night or yesterday and found like this key stage level 2 or 3 thing for public services. So they make you do that. I think they still do that. So you're going to be doing that. You've also got to make an affairs folder of everything you're learning. So there is a bit of like that admin, but don't let that put you off. I'm an absolute freaking mong and I got through it. So like if you're joining the military because you hate school, that's fine. But there is going to be this element of it as well, but nowhere near as much as like if you're doing GCSEs or A-levels or whatever. So, but yeah, you're going to, that's why you need to be able to read and write before you join. Basic maths, basic English, and all that good stuff. What was the biggest shock to the system early on in training other than admin? I think it was just like the intensity and the sort of being under the microscope. It's like, I was 19. I'd come from like a good footballing background, and then I'd sort of lost a bit of structure when I left that football club, and I was just doing, a bit of work at a bookies, but the rest of the time was my own. I was boxing and doing bits and bobs and stuff, but like very much my own time was my own time. Whereas all of a sudden, boom, there is no own time. All of a sudden I'm in a room with like 60 other lads or 50 other lads to start with. You're always busy. There's always something to do. Like there's no downtime, especially at the start. And that was like, flipping heck, what is going on here? Like even early mornings, like I'd practice, sounds pathetic, but get on early mornings. Like if you're not used to it, if you're waking up at 8 or 9 in the morning, start setting it back half an hour every week until you're waking up at like, going to bed at 10, waking up at 5, half 5, 6-ish or whatever. And just really like being proactive with your day. So another thing as well is like getting out and doing fizz as soon as you wake up, or, get some organ in you, get a banana in you and go out for a run and just start getting used to that sort of like intensity of lifestyle. You don't have to kick the crap out of it, but just getting used to like being outside, especially in bad weather and things like that. I think those are the main things that sort of hit you when you're a new recruit. Do you know anything about anything in general about Commando sappers? I actually don't, mate. I don't know tons about them. I never actually worked. No, I did. I did a little bit with them in the reserves when I left full time out in America. Good guys, and if that's a route you want to go down, like happy days, mate. You know, the Commando course is a hard one, going through as like in the army. So yeah, Fezzies if you want to go down the route. We're looking at your programs. Probably a couple of years of joining as I want to get my A levels first. It's still worth starting on that now or waiting till later to hop on that program. The business side of me goes, oh yeah, jump on the programs, but just for me, like I'm not a prick. So if you're doing your A levels and you're part of a football team or rugby team and you're doing your running and you're doing your PE, if you're still doing PE at that age, whatever, and you're going out with your mates playing footy and all that sort of stuff, just wait, just give it a time. Make sure you're doing your press ups, your sit ups, your squats, any sports specific stuff you want to be doing, or join a team, or if you've got a boxing gym down the road or whatever, then get on them. But if you haven't really got any real structure and stuff, then I'd say it's definitely going to be beneficial getting on the programs. But it's not essential for getting through. I've started my pre-joining fitness program. Do you think I should still try and push myself harder or stick to the routine they've provided? Is that with which program is that, mate? Is that the Complete Commando one or a different one? What's going on here? All right, Sam, hope you're well. Hi, Ryan, mate. What's your thought on twice a day training sessions to get weight down to make sure I'm BMI requirements? Right. So you could train twice a day and both workouts could be shoddy or they could be amazing. You've got to really weigh up like how much you working. If you were going to break your workouts up, I would say a weighted session and an aerobic session. Those can be done together, but ideally you do them individually. In terms of getting your weight down, that all comes down to like energy balance. So you could be working out loads, but if you're eating loads as well, you're not going to lose that weight. So it's really about your calories, being in a calorie deficit to get that weight down. I think the best way to sort of work your calories out, without having like a calorie calculator or whatever, is your body weight in pounds, and then sort of times that by 12 if you're not very active, or times it by 14 if you're really active, and then that's roughly the calorie deficit you want to be on every day. And then just track your calories in MyFitnessPal, because you could train till the cows come home, 5 times a day, but if you're scrunning the amount of calories that you're burning, you're not going to lose weight. So it really is about calories, about nutrition. No worries, Jonah. Keep them coming, guys. Any quizzes you got another sort of 10 minutes or so. I'll try and answer all of them. No questions are stupid. The only stupid question is the one not asked. Thoughts on Paros? Yeah, good. Obviously, not the same level as the Royal Marines. Obviously, I'm biased. A Para will say the other way around. But yeah, good. Elite. They're an elite organisation as well. I actually had a Para in my troop going through training, and he said the Royal Marines training was harder. He'd done like 7 years in the Paras, but that could be like that he'd been, he's already been in, not treated like a mug, and then all of a sudden he's a recruit again. So yeah, is what it is. Hi mate, enjoying the process. Just passed my interview. Boxing is my main training. Should I make my training more specific for the Marines instead of boxing? So boxing's really good for it. Like as long as you're getting, it depends on the boxing club, doesn't it? Like so some boxing clubs are amazing, some are terrible. As long as you're getting like run intervals in, loads of body weight work and stuff on top of your boxing, and they've got a basic grip of strength and conditioning, should be sound. Like I did boxing as my main like training for the Marines, and like you know, we had this hill by the boxing club, and I actually drove back to my hometown the other week, and I couldn't believe how big this hill was that I used to run up, and I used to come on my own as like a man possessed. I'd go there, sprint up it, walk down. As soon as I hit the bottom, sprint back up. I'd do that 3 times, 3 or 4 times, and then I'd go and do my runs on the park and my intervals and stuff. And that's all being implemented in our programs, but with a scientific approach. So as long as you're doing those like intervals, mate, and loads of body weight stuff and some strength training on the side, then boxing's great. Is creatine loading phase always uncomfortable? Here's a question for you. Is creatine loading phase actually needed, or is it a bit of a myth? I'll leave that one with you. I don't think it's, you know, there's conflicting research. I personally don't load. I wouldn't go to like a 10-gram creatine loading phase. You know, just that, you know, you can work out creatine based off body weight, but if you're sort of like a roughly middle, you know, down the road male, then 5 grams a day, and just don't worry about a loading phase. I'm tracking 2,000 calories per day, but always have heavy job window frames. Yeah, that's great. Probably quite low calories, to be honest, mate, if you're doing a manual labor job. The thing that, like I see with, like, say yourself, what I see a lot within general population is they'll hit 2,000 calories a day, you know, for 5 days, and then Saturday, Sunday go absolutely mental and have, like, they don't realize it, but they're, you know, they're having kebabs and all this, and they're scrambling about 6,000. So as a base of the whole week, they're not in a calorie deficit because their weekends have been like lager, kebabs and stuff. So so just make sure you're really consistent over weekends as well. But I probably lift those calories up slightly if you're in manual labor as well, and then just be really really solid throughout the weekends as well. James, how do you think that the force has changed since the invasion of Ukraine? Has their training changed? So I know that the political point of view on the military has changed. They've gone crap. Like, we've reduced our workforce and funding. We need to fund them. So it's really great for you guys joining, because the funding should be really good going forward. Obviously, NATO comes into play here. NATO are getting closer, more training exercises. It's been happening for a long time now, but even more prevalent now is like NATO is you know, linking arms, so to speak. And so in terms of exercises, it will be done with like a lot more countries, and it'd be a lot more like, you know, here's a vocal point that is potentially Russia, and so it'd be more specific to that, you know, Arctic warfare, things like that. Even Sam weigh 68 kilos. Would you recommend I put more weight on before I go into training? Yeah, I mean, you could be 68 kilos and you're 5'5", and so therefore you actually, like, you could be quite stocky and big, or you could be 6'2", and then all of a sudden 68 kilos, you're probably quite thin. So it's quite hard to say just off that comment. However, I would always try and get above 60 kilo in terms of the work, the load, you know, the load carrying, the yomping. That's what kills the sort of slimmer guys off, is they can be absolutely amazing at running, body weight, pull-ups, you know, muscle ups, all that, put a burden on, all of a sudden broken. So be honest with yourself. You know, if you are quite skinny and scrawny, you probably need to get that weight up. Can you put a preference to, if you go on our programs as well, I do like nutrition when guys message through, and we can sort all your nutrition out and give you a bit of a better answer than that as well. Can you put a preference to what commando would you like to join? Yeah, so you put your preference draft, and they'll try and give it to you. It's not always possible. Service needs come first. However, if you put 40 commando in Plymouth, in Taunton, they're not going to just out of spite put you in 4-5 commando. Like, how dare he put 40? He's a sprog. He's going up to 4-5 commando. So make sure, like, yeah. So just preference draft. You know, 75% of the time, I'd like to think you'd get it. Doesn't always work out like that, and it's, you know, you normally draft every 2 years anyway. So if you don't get it first time, you might get it after 2 years. Would you consider 27 years old too old to join? Absolutely not. There's a upper age limit of 32, 33 for a reason. If the Royal Marines didn't think that 32-year-olds could pass out, they wouldn't say it. So 27 is not old at all. I'm 33, and I'd be confident going to Limpston now that I'm in a good, solid physical condition to pass training. Obviously, as you get older, there's going to be different factors, like taking orders off maybe like a 25-year-old, someone younger than you. That's going to be quite hard to take. But in terms of being 27, you're going to be more mature in physically, probably just coming into that peak of your strength as well, as opposed to someone maybe who's 16. So it's an advantage, if anything. And then if you do 20 years, you're coming out full pension at 47. You can go and do another career after that. So not at all, mate. Doing well, thank you, buds. Yeah, doing good. Busy with the programming, our one-to-ones clients. We've got quite a lot now. Balancing that with family life. I'm obviously trying to train like a legend as always, and trying to grow the company and all that sort of stuff, and give the best programming, the best advice as possible. And yeah, it's good. We're good. We're doing well. Blessed, very blessed. How do I combat shin pain? So if you go on one of our videos, we've got a shin splints video, and that's just about improving lower limb strength, especially anterior tibialis, which is like the front of your shin, the muscles at the front. And you really want to work on that and the calf muscles. But that video will give you some good exercises to utilize and put into your daily schedule. It's normally, 9 times out of 10, it's lack of strength and also lack of mobility and tight muscles. So if you can combat those things, then you're on for a winner. How much should you eat when you're doing cardio day? Again, depends on weight, age, how much cardio did you do, what's your goals? Are you looking to gain weight, lose weight? So you need to give me more info than that, bro. How should I train my legs for CPC? I hear that endurance course involves a lot of anaerobic leg exercise. Do you think like hill sprints, jump squats, weighted lunges? Yeah, so I was just saying before, in our programs, we do hill sprints on a Thursday, I think. Weighted lunges, weighted step ups are a massive staple of our programming. On our programs, we have 3 different tiers as well: PJFT tier, CPC tier, and then ROP tier. And so depending on where you are in the process, you do that program. So every day there's a PJFT workout, CPC and ROP. And so if I'm gearing up for CPC, I do that. And our CPC stuff is a lot of what you're just saying there, like a lot of sprints, a lot of jumping squats, lunges, jumping lunges, burpees, all that stuff. We're trying to get the legs nice and strong and full of and good endurance as well. Have you got your green lid with you right now? No, I haven't got one here. I've got my pass out picture. There you go. But no, I've got my green lid at home. I might have one next door. I'll have to dig it out. I'm in the office at the moment, so I don't carry my green lid with me. I'm Chad, but not that Chad. Any idea how tough the AACC is? Yeah, hard, mate. Really hard. It's a 9-week course, I think. Still combined, it's freaking hard graft, and like to earn that green beret is hard. So you need to train hard for it. But I always think of it as what one man has done before me, another man can do. So if someone's done it before me, then there's no reason why I can't do it. So as long as you train hard, single-minded approach, and you're training well, and you want it enough, you'll get it. 28 minutes. Yep, exactly. There we go. Did you ever try SAS selection? I did not. A lot of people will go like, oh yeah, I should have done selection. I try not to talk about it because like ultimately I only want to talk about things I actually did or achieved or did. So I can sit here and go, yeah, I should have done it, or I was going to do it, but ultimately I didn't. So I have no right to gob off and talk about, shoulda, coulda, woulda. In hindsight, I'd have liked, circumstantially, just didn't do it. End of it. I'm at my PGFT section of Complete Commando. Do you recommend doing the PGFT section all in one go or progressively during the day? Lost a lot of progress in fitness because I got injured a while back. Again, you can balance it out with your fitness levels. So with obviously the program, you've seen that you've got your PGFT section, and you've got like you normally have your pull-ups and extra core work, and then you've got the strength strength program that runs alongside the program. So if you're like not the fittest right now and you can't handle the volume or the workload or the intensity, then break those sections out if you can. But as you get closer to your PJFT, I want that PJFT section done like and nailed, and I want you to have like 4 or 5 rounds before you do your PJFT, so that you know that if on the day you have a mare, you've still got another round or 2 like in the bag. You know, I don't like it when people go into their PJFT and they're scraping by and their form's a bit crap and it's like, oh, hit and miss on the day. Go into that PJFT and nail it and give the best account of yourself possible. Would it be a good idea to join RMR for a few years before I go to uni? For just over a year before I go to uni. It takes about a year to pass out of RMR if you go through all in one swoop. So if you feel like you can balance that out and you give a good account of yourself and you can get fully stuck in, then definitely it's a great lifestyle. RMR is brilliant. Any tips on how to deal with a family that doesn't want you to join the Marines? I've got a video on that. To be honest, I've got a video on most things. Let me see if I can dig it out. And then this like video was done. So the last one I did was like pros and cons of joining. And then, to be honest, just if you go on our channel after this, then you can have a look at all the videos and stuff. But basically, like, it's a tough one because I don't know why they don't want you to join. If it's a danger thing, say for instance it's Russia, ultimately if Russia kicks off, everyone will get called up, not just military. So I'd rather be with the best unit or the best organization out there in war rather than put into some like bastardized civvy unit. So yeah, like, but have a look at our video that we've done on dealing, talking with family don't want you to join. It's hard for me to talk on that because my family are all military. I've got 2 of my brothers are military right now. My dad's military, my grandfather's military. So my mum was like, get yourself in the Marines. Go and die for the country. Did you ever try SAS? No. Do you think we'll end up going to war with Russia? I don't know. It's people who wear suits decide that. I don't think it's in anyone's best interest if we do. Can you go to military prep week more than once? Can you go to the military prep week more than once? Our weekends you can, if that's what you're talking about. I think we're doing our 5th one in July, and we've had lads, they love it, and this is their, I think one lad's been on all, he's on, this is going to be his 5th one, he's going to be on all of them, because he's not ready to join the military yet, so he's got like another year or 2, age and school and stuff. But in the meantime, he's like, well, I want to go and be with like lads who've been there and done it, and we're seeing him progress every time. So you're more than welcome to come on our weekends more than once if that's what you're talking about. If it's the Look at Life course down at Limpston, not sure, but I don't see why not. Could you make more videos about RM officers and officer training? Yes, I will. Obviously, like I say, I try to speak within my within what I've done and stuff. So if I'm gobbling off about things I haven't done, it's a bit crap, but I can pull in officers to do that. We've got a 2-hour interview with my mate who's an officer on the channel, but I'll try and get more officer videos done for that, mate. I'm planning on doing my Marines straight after my A levels. Is that a good idea or is it very young? No, not at all. You'd be 18, 19. That's sound. If you're ready physically and mature, you're mature enough to do it, go for it. How would your main role change after AACC? What doors does it open? Working alongside three commander brigades. So you'd be so you'd be able to work alongside the brigade and be attached to them and be attached to units. So you can be based at like 4240, 45, and yeah, you can go on ops with them and stuff. So really cool. Opens up loads of doors. I'd like an absolute meltdown there. Any financial tips while serving? Yeah, from day one when you set up your accounts with them, try and sort of like on payday, just stash like 200 quid if possible, 250 or whatever you think you can afford. and just like every month, if you're just chucking away 250 or whatever, and after 4 or 5 years, that's, you know, there's a deposit for a house right there. And just try and stay out the naffy and go to civvy shops, because the naffy's expensive normally. Did you ever try going to SBS? No. So talks about that. Is it a regret? Probably, but I didn't do it, so I've got no remit to gob off about. When would you say to apply for Marines training but not applied yet? I would say apply, yeah, like ASAP really, and then gives you that incentive. You'll have a PJFT within like a couple of months of applying. You know, it could be up to 6 months. So yeah, apply when you feel like you're ready and good to go, and you've got, you know, your focus and you're 100% sure that's what you want to do. I would say apply when you're 100% like, this is what I want to do. I've got to freaking go for it. Because if you don't have that mindset, it's going to be very hard to get through if you don't want it enough. What's harder to pass, Marines or para selection? So like I said before, I was with a para in my troop in training, and he said Royal Marines was harder. But like I was saying, is that because he'd been in the paras for 7 years and then all of a sudden he's a recruit again? I don't know. So, but that's the only thing I've got to go off. What's the best unit? One para? Within the paras, don't know. I think so, but I don't actually know much about their units. Obviously, you've got SFSG, which is made up predominantly of paras and Royal Marines, and that's really cool. And that's just like Special Forces Support Group. They obviously support Special Forces in ops and all that good stuff, and that's got full of good lads. So this hypothetical question: I'm 30 years old, psychology grad from Sweden with British citizenship. Last mention: if I joined, how do you think I would be treated? You'd be treated the same as everyone else. There's lads from all over the Commonwealth, and yeah, there's a bit of banter. Like we have banter with the South Africans or the lads from the Caribbean, or you know, wherever they're from, and they give banter back. But your brothers when you join, so you'd be fine. You're good to go. You'd be obviously a little bit older, so you might struggle with maybe being told what to do on the authority point of view, but you've just got to swallow your pride and just, you know, crack on. Put Putin and Madman, our army has been shrinking the last few years. Is it a good idea to join RM as an officer straight out of school? How long do you recommend you prepare for training? Yeah, so in that interview I did with my friend who's an officer, he said that sounds like if you're prepared enough and you're mature enough and stuff, then go for it. And again, how long to prepare for depends on your training age. How ready are you at this current point in time? Have you trained to a high level before? Have you never trained before? So it really depends on the individual. I would give yourself like a good year of like prep, like single-minded prep. Is a draft even possible in this country? Too many unpatriotic people and immigrants that would obviously refuse to fight completely, as well as the whole trans thing going on. I don't know, mate. I don't know. It would be very hard to make it happen, but I'm sure the government is capable of making it happen. And in terms of immigrants, mate, they've got freaking, most of them have got more balls than the Brits, the British lads. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of them are more patriotic as well. Like, not all of them, obviously, but actually there's a lot of like Eastern Europeans that you'd want freaking side by side with you. And yeah, like in terms of a lot of the youth and the benefit system and stuff, that's another argument. I don't know. Are we breeding lazy people? It's not for me to say, but we are. James, I'm training. I'm 30 in week 20. It sounds, if you're fit. Oh, he's okay. Sound. There you go. Boom. He's in week 20, lads. So he's got all the gen. He's in week 20 of Royal Marines training. So and he's 30 years old. So direct your quezzies to him as well, because he'll be in the gen. I'm flagging here, lads. So, and lads and ladies, 36 minutes, supposed to be 20 minutes. So try not to add any more questions, and I'll try and get through these last ones. I'm always available on Instagram at Complete Commando, or obviously jump on our programs and get, you know, direct access and all that. Hey man, quick question. Ask for my friend. Can you join RMC with mild Tourette's, low spectrum autism, and mild OCD? I mean, all three of them. I don't know. I don't know enough about that, and again, I'm not in my remit with any of that, so I don't want to give you crap advice. So the best thing to do is ring your AFCO and find out that way. Getting swimming lessons right now is not an option, so it's up to me to teach myself. Would it be worth learning other strokes beside breaststroke? Yeah, like get as competent as possible. I was crap at swimming, but like I could swim. I wasn't amazing. I just had to work really, really hard. So just work really freaking hard. Like that's your main priority if you can't swim. But breaststroke, front crawl, back crawl, you're going to predominantly do breaststroke, but it's important to learn all of them. Marie's got the beaches for the sexy ladies. Yep. 22 SAS versus SBS. Obviously different worlds completely. One's a reserve unit, one's the SBS. I think, in my opinion, SBS more superior just because of the dives course they have to go through as well. You know any lads that have transferred to the Australian Defence Force? Something that interests me down the line. No, but I know lads who've been offered it. In fact, I might have one lad who's done it, but I know one lad who left at the Navy and then they were looking for him to go. My brother's, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, definitely a good way to go down. The moolah's good as well. Does being an RM officer feel less rewarding than RM as in being one of the lads? I don't think so. I think like what they go through is unbelievable, and they're still part of the lads, but just part of the lads as officers. And hats off to you if you get through it. It's amazing. Sam, TPC in a few weeks. Suggestions on tapering training, tips for endurance course. Yeah, so loads of hill sprints, weighted step ups, weighted lunges, sprints, burpees, pull ups. High intensity training. If you need more guidance on that, get on the get on the programs. Obviously, you've been on the last program, so you've got that. When you come on our programs, you get a month free on our programs, so you can utilize that, mate. But yeah, just absolutely nailed it. And then tapering about 7 days out, just start tapering down, lowering the intensity, lowering the volume, and then 2-3 days out, just cut it off, maybe a slow jog and 1 round of PGFT or something like that, but just really chill, get the scran in and rest up. I think the Gurkhas are the best regiment apart from SF. They're definitely hard-working guys. I wouldn't say they're the best, but they're good. And, hats off to them. They're great guys. Loved the TC, loved October, love that. Good to hear, mate. Love that. Yeah, we have programs, so you can check that out. Check that out on our Instagram. It's in our bio. I think it's somewhere on our YouTube. I think it's in the description of this as well. Check that out. If you use the code 1664, you get a month free and you get a 7-day free trial. Legends, guys. Hope that's helpful. 40 minutes. Boom. Yeah. Any questions? Any more questions? I'll try and do one of these once a week as I know they're beneficial to you guys. 8 tips for running, examples, interval training. Get on our program. 7-day free trial. But yeah, running just different volumes, different different intensities. So hill sprints, 5K runs, lower pace, and then sprint work as well. But just message me on Instagram, mate, and I'll help you with that. Right, last question. If you can become RM, can you also do P-Coy while in RM? Yes, you can. Do Royal Marines deploy much with the Army Guards? No. Boom. Sorry, guys. I'll do another one next week. Message me on Instagram if you've got any more queries. And yeah, this will be on YouTube, so you can watch back if you are late. Cheers, guys.